The mechanic said he test drove my car. My dashcam showed he went to a casino. I sat in the driver's seat of my Audi RS7, staring at the digital dashboard, and I felt the blood drain out of my face so fast I thought I was going to pass out. My hands were gripping the perforated leather steering wheel, squeezing it hard enough to turn my knuckles a ghostly white. It wasn't the smell that hit me first, though the cabin reeked of stale menthol cigarettes and cheap vanilla body spray, it was the numbers. The glowing orange fuel light was screaming at me. I dropped this car off yesterday morning with a full tank of 93 octane. I specifically filled it up at the Shell station 2 blocks away because I'm obsessive about my maintenance. And now, it was running on fumes. My eyes shifted to the odometer. 42,105 miles. I closed my eyes and took a deep, shaky breath. I have a photographic memory for numbers, especially when it comes to this car. When I handed the keys over to the service manager yesterday, the odometer read 41,892. 213 miles. They put 213 miles on my car for an oil change and a tire rotation. I felt the heat rising in my neck, a prickly, suffocating sensation that crawled up my throat and settled behind my eyes. I wasn't just angry, I was violated. This car isn't just a vehicle to me. It's 5 years of savings. It's the bonus checks I didn't spend. It's the weekends I spent working overtime. It is my pride and joy, a twin-turbo V8 monster that I treat better than I treat myself. I opened the door and stepped out onto the concrete floor of the shop. The service manager, a guy named Rick who always had a toothpick dancing between his lips, was typing on a computer behind the high counter. I walked back inside. The bell on the door chimed, a cheerful sound that felt completely out of place with the violence currently brewing in my chest. "Forgot something, Mr. Hayes?" Rick asked, not looking up. "Rick," I said, my voice low and trembling with restrained rage. "Why is my gas tank empty?" Rick stopped typing. He looked up, shifting the toothpick to the other side of his mouth. He had that bored, dead-eyed look of a man who has been lied to by customers for 20 years and has stopped caring. "We probably had to let it idle to check the oil pressure," Rick shrugged. "These high-performance engines, they drink gas like water. It's normal." "It drank 18 gallons of fuel at idle?" I asked, stepping closer to the counter. "And did it also drive itself 213 miles while idling?" Rick blinked. He looked at me, then down at the paperwork, then back at me. The boredom flickered for a second, replaced by a flash of annoyance. "Look, buddy," he sighed, leaning forward. "You asked for a tire rotation and an alignment check. My tech, Kyle, he had to road test it. We gotta make sure the tracking is straight at highway speeds. Sometimes it takes a while to get the sensors to calibrate. Standard procedure. 200 miles is not a road test, Rick," I hissed, leaning over the counter until I was inches from his face. "That is a road trip. That is a drive to the state line." "Kyle is my lead tech," Rick said, his voice hardening. "If he says he needed to drive it to diagnose a vibration, he needed to drive it. Do you want the car fixed or not? Pay the invoice, or I keep the keys." I stared at him. I wanted to reach across the counter and grab him by his greasy polo shirt. I wanted to scream until the windows shattered. But I didn't. A cold, tactical clarity washed over me. Rick didn't know. Kyle didn't know. They saw the dashcam mounted on the windshield. I'm sure Kyle unplugged it. That's what shady mechanics do. But they didn't know about the Blackview interior cam. The one hidden in the housing of the rearview mirror. The one that runs on a separate battery backup and records audio and video of everything happening inside the cabin. "Fine," I whispered. "I'll pay." I tapped my card. I took my keys. "Have a nice day," Rick grunted, already looking back at his screen. "Oh, I will," I said. "You too, Rick. Enjoy it while it lasts." I walked out to the car. I got in. I didn't drive away immediately. I reached up and pulled the micro SD card out of the hidden slot. It was warm to the touch. I drove home in silence. The car felt different. Looser. The transmission shifted aggressively in second gear. Every noise, every rattle, felt like a fresh wound. I got into my apartment, threw my keys on the table, and opened my laptop. My hands were shaking so bad it took me 3 tries to get the card into the reader. I opened the file folder. Folder, event_recording. Date, January 23rd. There were hours of footage. Dozens of files. I clicked the first one. The video player loaded. The angle was wide. It showed the entire cabin, the driver's seat, the passenger seat, and the view out the back window. The first clip started at 10:15 a.m. yesterday. The door opened. Kyle hopped in. He was a young guy, maybe 25, wearing a snapback hat backward and a shop uniform that was covered in grime. He looked right at the windshield-mounted camera. "Whoops," Kyle muttered. He reached up and yanked the power cord out of the main unit. The screen didn't go black. Because I was watching the feed from the hidden unit. Kyle grinned. He adjusted the mirror, staring at himself, fixing his hair. He didn't see the tiny lens staring right back at his soul. "All right, sweetheart," he said to the dashboard, patting it. "Let's see what you got." He fired up the engine. He didn't let it warm up. He just slammed it into drive and peeled out of the service bay. I could hear the tires squeal on the polished concrete. I fast-forwarded. He didn't drive to the highway to check the alignment. He drove to a residential neighborhood. He pulled up to a curb. A girl came out. She was wearing a sequin top and tight jeans. "Damn, baby," the girl squealed as she got in. "Is this yours?" "For the weekend it is," Kyle laughed. He leaned over and kissed her. Customer drop-off. Guy is some rich loser. Probably doesn't even know how to drive it. I told the boss I had to chase a phantom vibration. We got all day. "You're bad," she giggled, buckling in. "Where we going?" "We're going to the Golden Nugget," Kyle said, revving the engine at a stop sign. "Valet parking only today, babe." I felt my stomach churn. The Golden Nugget Casino is an hour and a half away. I clicked the next file. Timestamp, 12:30 p.m. They were on the interstate. The speedometer on the digital dash was visible in the reflection of the side window if you looked closely, but I didn't need to see the number to know how fast they were going. The scenery was blurring. The engine was screaming at the red line. "Hit it," the girl screamed. "Go faster." "Watch this," Kyle shouted. He dropped a gear. The car lurched. He weaved in and out of traffic, cutting off a minivan so close that the driver laid on the horn for 10 seconds. "This thing is a rocket," Kyle yelled. "I bet I can hit 130. "Do it." I watched, helpless, as a stranger pushed my engine to its breaking point. My hands were clenched into fists on my desk. I wasn't just watching unauthorized use, I was watching reckless endangerment. If he crashed, if he killed someone, it was my car. My insurance. My liability. Then, he did something that made me physically gag. He pulled a pack of cigarettes out of his pocket. "Don't," I whispered at the screen. "Don't you dare." He lit one. He cracked the window an inch. He took a drag and blew the smoke directly into the center console vents. "Smooth," he sighed. "Can I have one?" the girl asked. "Yeah, just don't burn the leather," Kyle said, handing her the pack. "Although, who cares? Guy's got money. He can detail it." I slammed the laptop shut. I needed a minute. I needed to breathe. I walked to my window and looked out at my car parked on the street. It looked traumatized. I walked back to the computer. I wasn't done. I needed everything. I skipped ahead to the drive back. Timestamp, 6:45 p.m. It was dark. The interior lights were on. They were stopped at a red light. A car pulled up next to them. I could hear the deep thrum of a modified exhaust through the closed windows. A Mustang. Kyle looked over. He rolled down the window. "Nice pony." Kyle shouted. "Wanna run it?" I couldn't hear the other driver, but I heard the Mustang rev. "Oh, it is on," Kyle grinned. He turned off the traction control. I saw his finger press the button. "Kyle, be careful," the girl said, sounding a little nervous now. "Relax. I'm a professional." The light turned green. Kyle slammed the accelerator. The RS7 has launch control, but he didn't use it properly. He just mashed the pedal. The tires spun violently, smoking against the asphalt. The car fishtailed, swerving into the other lane. "WOH," the girl screamed, grabbing the "oh shit" handle. Kyle corrected the slide, wrestling the steering wheel. He missed the Mustang by inches. "Got him." Kyle howled. "Eat my dust, Ford." The engine whined as he pushed it to 100. 110. "Slow down," the girl yelled. "Kyle, seriously. Slow down." He let off the gas. He was laughing. A manic, adrenaline-fueled laugh. "Did you see that?" he panted. "I smoked him." "You almost hit him," she said. "Almost doesn't count," Kyle said. The video ended as he pulled back into the shop parking lot, parked it in a dark corner, and plugged the main dashcam back in. "Delete the last loop," he muttered to himself as he fiddled with the main camera. And, done. Clean getaway. I sat there in the silence of my apartment. "Clean getaway," I repeated. I grabbed my external hard drive. I backed up the files. Then I backed them up again to the cloud. Then I emailed a copy to my lawyer. Then, I picked up my phone and called the non-emergency police line. "I'd like to report a crime," I said. "Unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, reckless driving, and potentially endangerment. I have video evidence. The driver is currently employed at Rick's auto shop. They told me an officer would meet me there in an hour. I didn't wait an hour. I got in my car, my poor, abused car, and drove back to the shop. It was 4:30 p.m. They closed at 5. I walked in. Rick was still at the counter. He looked annoyed to see me again. "What now?" Rick groaned. "Forget how to put gas in it." "I want to speak to the owner," I said. "Not you, Rick. The owner. Is Sal here?" "Sal's in the back," Rick said. "He's busy." "Get him," I said. "Or I play this video for the news crew that I'm calling next." Rick paused. He saw the laptop under my arm. He saw the look in my eyes. "Sal!" Rick yelled over his shoulder. "Customer for you." Sal walked out wiping his hands on a rag. He was an older guy, serious face, looked like he actually cared about the business. "Can I help you, son?" Sal asked. "Sal," I said. "I've been a customer here for 3 years. I trusted you guys with my RS7. Beautiful car," Sal nodded. "We take good care of it. I want you to watch something," I said. "And I want you to call Kyle up here to watch it with us." Sal looked at Rick. Rick shrugged. "Kyle." Sal shouted into the bay. "Front desk." Kyle jogged in. He froze when he saw me. Just for a second. Then he put the mask back on. "Hey man," Kyle nodded. "Everything good? Alignment feel straight?" "Let's find out," I said. I placed the laptop on the counter. I turned it so Sal, Rick, and Kyle could see the screen. I hit play. The video started with the casino valet scene. "Check this out, babe. This car hits 100 easy." Sal's face went stone cold. He leaned in closer to the screen. "Is that?" Sal whispered. "Is that my shop uniform?" I skipped ahead. "The smoking scene." Sal flinched. "He's smoking in a customer's car." Kyle was pale. He was gripping the edge of the counter. "Boss, I can explain. That was a long time ago. That's old footage. It's dated yesterday, Kyle," I said. I skipped to the racing scene. The tire squeal. The fishtail. The near miss with the Mustang. "WOH," the girl screamed on the video. Sal stood up straight. He looked at the screen, then he looked at Kyle. The silence in the room was heavy enough to crush a skull. "You raced it," Sal said. His voice was terrifyingly quiet. "You took a customer's RS7, to a casino, and then you raced it on I-95? It was a road test." Kyle stammered, sweat breaking out on his forehead. "I was checking the turbo lag. You have to push it to test it." "You picked up a girl, Kyle." Sal roared, slamming his hand on the counter. "You nearly wrecked a $100,000 car. You smoked in it. It was just one cigarette." Kyle yelled. I opened the window. "You're fired," Sal said. "Get your tools. Get out. Now." "You can't fire me," Kyle shouted. "I'm the lead tech. You need me. I need you like I need a lawsuit." Sal screamed. "Get out before I throw you through that window." Kyle looked at me. His eyes were full of hate. "You set me up. You hid that camera. That's illegal recording." "Actually," I said, "in this state, it's a one-party consent law. And it's my property." "Smile, Kyle. You're going to be famous." At that moment, the door opened. A police officer walked in. "Mr. Hayes?" the officer asked. "Here," I said. "We received a report of reckless driving with video evidence." "It's right here," I pointed to the laptop. "And that's the driver." Kyle tried to run. He actually tried to bolt for the side door. The officer was faster. He grabbed Kyle by the back of his greasy shirt and spun him around. "Whoa there, speed racer," the officer said. "Let's have a chat." Kyle was arrested on the spot. Reckless driving. Unauthorized use of a vehicle. And because of the speed he hit in the video, 115 miles per hour in a 55 zone, it was an automatic license suspension. Sal turned to me. He looked defeated. He looked old. "Mr. Hayes," Sal said, his voice shaking. I don't know what to say. I had no idea." "I know you didn't, Sal," I said. "But Rick did. Rick told me it was standard procedure when I complained about the mileage." Sal turned his gaze to Rick. Rick swallowed hard, the toothpick falling out of his mouth. "I didn't know he went to a casino, Sal. I just thought he took a long lunch." "You're done too," Sal said. "Pack your stuff." Sal looked back at me. "I will pay for everything. I'll pay for a full detail. I'll pay for a tank of gas. I'll pay for the tire wear. I'll refund the service." "You're going to buy the car, Sal," I said. "Excuse me?" "I don't want it anymore," I said. "It's been abused. Who knows what he did to the transmission? Who knows what internal damage there is? I'm not driving a car that was used as a party bus for your mechanic's date. You're going to buy it from me. Kelly Blue Book value. Retail. Plus the tax I paid. Sal looked at the car outside. He looked at the police officer putting Kyle in the cruiser. He looked at his crumbling business. "Okay," Sal whispered. "Okay. I'll cut the check." I posted the video that night. Not to be petty, but as a warning. It got 2 million views in 24 hours. The local news ran a segment, "Joyride mechanic busted by hidden cam." Sal's shop is currently closed, for restructuring. I heard he's selling the building. I got my check. I bought a new car. A Porsche this time. And the first thing I did? I installed a dashcam. Front, back, and interior. Kyle is awaiting trial. He's facing jail time for the reckless endangerment charge because, as it turns out, he was driving on a suspended license from a previous DUI. I sometimes watch the video just to remind myself to trust my gut. When he looks into the mirror and says, "Clean getaway," it sends a shiver down my spine. He thought he was the hero of his own action movie. He forgot that every movie has a villain. And in his story, the villain was a tiny, blinking lens he never even saw coming. So, tell me. Am I the monster for destroying a business and sending a guy to jail over a joyride, or did I just perform the most expensive vehicle inspection in history?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.